Alright, I just want to do a quick video on some old footage of Rockgate Park. It was on a TV show, I think back in the 60s. I'll have to look it up. The TV show is called You Asked For It. Let's get into this. The entrance, Rockgate Park. I've always wondered what these screws were for. Does anybody else wonder about that?
A wizard named Edward Leedskalnin, his words and his dream. At the request of
Now,
Mrs. Fred Urich of Pembroke, Massachusetts, we first
looking up the stairs, going towards Ed's tower.
climbed these stairs to see how the man lived his lonely life. Once disappointed in love, he wandered here from his native Latvia, hoping to accomplish something so important.
Inside Ed's living quarters.
With his sweetheart.
It's like some of Ed's work clothes, Ed's rocker.
Would somehow, someday return to him. Well, here's where he worked and waited.
A bunch of old magazines and books that Ed would have read back in the day. Got Ed's jars here.
Ed's
hanging chair. Ed used to have...
in his castle he built himself. A crude steel chair suspended to the rafters. He lived entirely...
See, Ed used to have this swinging chair set up right by his door.
Also
Old shot of his bed.
suspended, raised to the ceiling when not in use. Worldly comfort.
You can see some things have been replaced on this bed since.
All that mattered was the building of his remarkable...
Look at that, Ed's tea kettle, stove.
castle. He permitted no one to enter. He had a pact.
His bowls. Ed would put his soap here. To see how this bowl was wired down onto the shelf. Ed would get up every morning, wash his face using this bowl of water perhaps. Down below this is a drain.
Passion for neatness, everything in its proper place.
Now we got it. These are Ed's boots. Here's a better shot. Shortwave television FM. I think this is in the gift shop, this book. FM transmitters. What are these? I would suspect that all these magazines and papers are still in the gift shop at Rockgate Park. I would hope. It would be neat to look through some of these. See what Ed was reading himself. It would really get us into his mind.
Although uneducated, he was an avid reader. His living quarters were on the second floor of his castle. His workshop below.
Now we're going down to the tool room. Once again, we have an original door. You can see a whole bunch of tools and cables and stuff out here. Chains. Logs. What is this? Oh, this is his wheelbarrow.
Every tool designed.
In the tool room, we have the flywheel. What do we have? I think most of these tools are still there, although I'm not sure I've seen this rake. Must still be around somewhere. Some of these pieces are still there, probably most are still there. Hand drill. An axe.
And made by his own hands. Crude and
very cool.
Appearance, and yet with devices such as this, he quarried and raised
Another
coral stones
hoist.
weighing up to 35 tons.
What is this?
To this,
Here we are in where Ed's bike used to sit. Right beside the flywheel here.
day, no one knows quite how he did it. For no one ever saw him at work.
Look at that. In the photos with that at the flywheel, that's that great big hook. At one point they took everything down, I guess.
He fashioned his pulley system out of scrap parts salvaged from junkyards, heavy-duty chains over cumbersome wheels, sledgehammers and chisels, cog wheels, a brace and bit, a handmade axe.
A handmade axe. Is this the handmade axe? That is really cool. What kind of stone? Wonder if he used stone on stone for his final dressing of some of the stones? Is this stone? It looks like a stone axe, doesn't it? This could have been used to flatten out wires. These devices are still a mystery to this day, what they were really used for. This could have been used in some of the cutting of the blocks.
Hand cars. The only records of his work are time exposures, which he took himself. They say he discovered the secret of how slaves of the ancient pharaohs moved stones from the quarries. To keep the curious out, he surrounded his castle with an 8-foot wall.
Okay, now we're looking at the back. This is right by the quarry. The South Quarry. I'm not sure if this is a type of eavesdropping or what. Notice the missing piece on Ed's tower. We can see the other view here. Now we know the exact dimensions for the roof, how far it went out. Still hard to see what kind of a building it was and what it was made out of. I was speculating it could have been a washroom or something. Don't know. But there's another shot of it, so once I get the date of this video, we'll know basically when that shed was still there and somewhere around when it got tore down.
Into the wall and castle went over 235 tons of coral rock, but he used no power tools of any kind.
Wow, here we are over by the telescope. And here's the pond. Pond is looking a lot of vegetation growing in it. So many trees back here.
He dug his own well.
And this is a shot looking down into Ed's well. Overgrown with ferns. Look how clear the water is. So beautiful with all the foliage. Oh, there's the rolling stone. Blocks the entrance of the well.
And equally remarkable are his carvings in stone. This one no less.
There's our obelisk. Nice angle of it.
Weighs over 28 tons. A 9-ton crescent to the east. The planet Saturn.
Saturn.
Many such figures reveal
Mars.
interest in astronomy.
We had Mars with the palmetto still growing out of it.
Many such figures reveal his interest in astronomy. Near his planetarium, a giant throne.
Throne. The moon fountain.
A 3-ton coral rock table shaped like the state of Florida. A sunbathing stone.
Look at that. We got the sun couch spinning and first rocker, or telescope.
Aimed at the North Star, sighting through crosshairs and adjoining walls, he oriented himself with the heavens. Always the...
This is the cradle by the obelisk, right beside the repentance corner.
Dream of marriage to his boyhood sweetheart.
Look at how well this stuff rocked.
The rocking chair weighing thousands
Yeah, that's
of
just
pounds,
simply rocking on its own.
the slightest touch. Always
Look at
the
that.
dream of marriage to his boyhood sweetheart. The baby's
Everything was
cradle,
very finely balanced, you
bathtub
could
of
say.
coral rock.
There's his bathtub.
The water mirror.
Black mirror.
An outdoor fireplace.
An outdoor fireplace, and it looks like they've got smoke coming up from out of there. This is the barbecue with the pressure cooker. What angle are we looking here? Over here, on the other side, there's a pipe where Ed could blow oxygen up into this and create some pretty fierce fire for his blacksmithing, cooking, you name it, whatever he was. Check that out. Alright, well this is something I've never ever seen, is a fire actually burning in the barbecue. Very cool. Has anything changed with this pressure cooker? I'll have to look at some more recent photos. It's all looking about the same.
Contrived an oven from Model T Universal. In 1951, at the age of 64, Leedskalnin died. His wife was guarded by a 9-ton door, perfectly balanced on pivots to turn with ease. The light work of the...
Okay. Beautiful gardens back and behind the 9-ton gate.
Wizard of Coral Castle.
Well, that was pretty cool. 425. Would have been nice to see some more of Ed's tool room.
His bed also suspended, raised to the ceiling when not in use.
And it would be nice to see some more of the living quarters here.
Worldly comforts meant nothing. All
But they did show a fair bit.
castle. He permitted no one to enter. And yet, for a recluse, he had a passion for neatness, everything in its proper place.
I think these are the same boots that they have in the gift shop. Very interesting. Wonder what year the perpetual motion holder disappeared. What's this, a glove or something? Not sure. Oh, the edits are just so quick. Here we have, we're right on the edge of the flywheel. They're not showing if there was a bottle still up on the pipe.
To this day, no one...
What else? Yeah, this axe is really cool. This is an interesting piece too.
Handmade axe.
But they're just not showing
Wheels
us
from railroad hand cars.
all of them. you know. Another real cool shot I thought was these stairs looking up.
At the request of Mrs. Fred Uright of Pembroke, Massachusetts, we first climbed these stairs to see how the man lived his lonely life.
Now, is this a big coil of wire, or what is this? That looks like Ed's hat from 1905. What that is. Notice there's no radios. I haven't seen any radios. His bed also, it's really hard to fathom that he slept on this bed the whole time. Later, remember, he had his wooden cabin out back for most of the construction, for all of the construction of Rockgate Park. Is this the bed that he had hanging up in his wooden cabin when he was living there before he moved into the living quarters?
For a recluse, he had a passion for neatness, everything in its proper place.
So I think that's about it. I've been looking for this footage for some time. Alright, so I've tried to date this episode, and the only information that we seem to have is that it aired on TV September 16th, 1961. The episode was called The Lonely Wizard of Coral Castle. 1961 is not the date that it was filmed, because if you look down here, the series ran from 1950 to 1951, and then on ABC until September 2nd of 1959. If we do a comparison from 1955, outside of Rockgate Park going up to the entrance, see the height of all the plants here. This is from You Asked For It, and this is the footage that they have here going up to the entrance of Rockgate Park. It's hard to tell by the height. It actually looks fairly close. But there is some different things. It doesn't appear that we have all of these stones here. Another thing is these white stones on the walkway. I think they would stand out. This is the walkway down here, and I'm not seeing any stones there either. We do have this tree here. Could assume by the angle that that might be this tree here. If that's the case, they're pretty close to height. If we look down at this plant here, this one actually appears taller. And this is a photo from 1957. So what else can we compare? We can compare outside of the tool room. This is footage from You Asked For It. Now we can compare these chains that are out there. This full shot. Appears the chains are basically the same. We look over on the wall over here. There is still coil hung. There's still these units leaning up against the wall. It appears we have some stumps up against the wall underneath these chains. Over here, you can see we got a plant there. We can see a tree here, a very large tree here. If we look at the Fate magazine, that's Ed's wheelbarrow there. You can see all these stumps have been moved over to here. Alright, then we go down into the shots of the tool room. And this is where it gets quite interesting. See, we got our large hook here laying on the floor. This is from the You Asked For It footage. In 1956, there's our large hook right here. It's in the same spot. And we got our flywheel here. We got our block wood. Go down. Our pipe, chain. Same chain all bunched up there. The hook itself has been moved. Another thing that appears to maybe match. A block of wood here. With this sitting on it. That could be this right here. This piece of metal. Looks like it's flared out at the end. Maybe a wedge or something. Chisel. Okay, let's look up in the living quarters here. Now here's footage from You Asked For It. Showing his hat, other things hanging, basin, not sure what year this photo was taken, but it couldn't have been that far in between. Still got everything there. I don't know what this is. But it's here. But now we're seeing the stand. Supposedly that's a radio stand. Intriguingly, in Search Of, they showed something different that they found the money in. I'd like to see that piece somewhere. You can see just not much has changed through years. In some cases, decades. Going through the footage, I decided to grab all of the best clips out of the tool room. Basically came down to 3 clips around the flywheel. We have the southeast wall, the southeast corner here. Of course we have flywheel. And down below we have our pipe, one of the blocks of wood. We can see a little bit of the engine block down there. I tried to resize them all and put them together the best I could. And what I basically came up with was this. The piece that I really wanted to see is this part here that attaches to the pipe. You've seen this 1956 photo, same idea. The lady is covering the same part that we want to see. But a cool thing is we can see the top of this now. This could change everything. If you look at this, we can almost see the top. Now it's starting to look more like a coil, whereas before I thought there was a bottle sitting in a type of a container, Leyden jar style. It still looks like there's something there, doesn't it? If we look in this photo, maybe there was never anything there. Maybe that's just shadows playing with our eyes. And if you look at this here, what might that be? It actually goes over here. I believe this to be a glove. You can see the fingers. I don't know. This is the cuff. This is probably a leather work glove. And this leather work glove appears to be in all the photos. This is the glove here, it's just turned around. This is the cuff of it. Look, when Ed's showing his flywheel, there's the cuff of the glove right there. And the way he's got it inserted into here, it tells me something must have been arcing off of here. So we have this piece here, and then you see this. Let's assume that this is a glove, and that's this piece right here. It's sitting on top of this piece, right here. So assume that's a glove. It's insulating, and it makes no sense to me, but... And over here, this glove, or whatever it may be, has been flipped up that way. This is the cuff of a glove, I believe. If anybody else can see something different there, let me know. So when Ed was there, he had this object placed there for some reason. What is this now? It could be all hollow inside there. Or it could be a large coil with just a centerpiece. There's always been this coil up here that one's wondered about. Could that be the same coil as right there? That could be the same size. Alright, so there is a possibility this could be a coil there, same coil as is there. Which really messes with the other theory that this is a Leyden jar type deal. So what I was first thinking was, you got a bottle placed inside another container. A milk jug is what I was proposing. Milk jug, wine bottle, coils. And then maybe an upside down bottle placed on this circle over here with a unit that comes out and extends itself towards the flywheel magnets. So whatever this unit is over here really makes me wonder. Now what I'm thinking is it may be more like this. Your coil. We have our long coil. This coil here, as many have said, will fit into there, and then we'll have an iron core that fits into that coil, which also goes up through this coil, if this is a coil. And then what? Then we have this leather glove leather glove. Assuming it's a glove, fits right in here. Stuck in there. But a lot of this doesn't make sense. Let's say this is a coil. We got a rod going up through it. And he's got it arcing off over onto here. Another interesting thing was how Ed's got the pipe partially into the bench. Why didn't he just do it right beside? Wonder if he put this pipe in before he made the bench, before he placed the flywheel in. That's all the thoughts I have for now on this. I am going to do a longer video on just the flywheel. Back then you asked for it, was not even looking for any of the details we're looking for. They were just showing the place. They did a pretty good job of it, I think. So I don't know what year. I'm gonna say late 50s that the footage was recorded in. Doesn't seem to be registered anywhere. I think that's all for now. I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you for all your time.